Our firm is AMLB CPAs and Consulting. We're located in Canada. We're a virtual accounting firm, and we serve small businesses, charities, and not-for-profits across Canada. We started the firm in mid-2019 before the pandemic, was upon us. And when we started and we talked to potential clients about using Zoom to communicate, they were like, what's Zoom and how do I use this tool? And in March of 2020, we were getting calls from, the same folks saying, can you tell us a bit more about that Zoom thing you're talking about? And so it's definitely changed the world for us. And we feel grateful for the opportunity to be able to help small businesses and charities across Canada when they needed it most by providing cloud accounting services and just partnering with them on their growth and scaling their impact in many cases. So it's my partner, Ali, and myself. We are former banking executives for the last 15 years or so. We both worked at Big Four professional accounting firms, and we heard from potential clients what the pain points were they were facing around getting real-time information around the manual processes that they were being subjected to, and also more timely communication when it came to their financials. And so those are what we set out to address. And based on our research, we came across Dext, and we're excited to partner with you. So we actually were introduced to PCC, Pancreatic Cancer Canada Foundation, in the middle of 2020. I think it was about June 2020. So we're about 4 months at that time into the pandemic, and they were looking for an accountant and an outsourced chief financial officer that was really innovative, that wanted to grow with them as they had big plans to make progress on certain priorities in the US and in Canada in terms of raising awareness and broadening their impact. So Pancreatic Cancer Canada was founded in 2006. It was a relatively small operation until the arrival of the current CEO, Michelle Capobianco, in 2015. Since that time, the vision and operations have expanded significantly. So my role at PCC and our firm's role is to really provide the outsourced finance function for the organization. A little bit more about pancreatic cancer. Their phrase is, we aren't looking for sympathy, we are looking for results. That means raising survival rates by funding research, as well as increasing awareness, education, and patient support. So it's really important to them that they invest in research and have invested to date more than $4 million across Canada, and are currently on the cusp of a breakthrough in early detection, treatment, and improving patient outcomes. So, if you think about PCC's impact on the community, they actually are able to not only provide funding for research, but they also provide funding for patient support. And so the more time they can spend on those activities, which have an impact on the patient experience, and provide more funding, for those programs, the better off we all are, right, as a society. And so they were looking for opportunities to simplify and automate many of their processes, and among them was their accounts payable process. So when we think about that, using Dext Prepare really helped them eliminate repetitive data entry. It also increased the accuracy of their data because it wasn't human input every single month on the same invoice that you're getting month over month, but now it's based on optical character recognition and other tools that Dext uses. It also simplified the expense report creation process. So this was surprising, even for me as an accounting firm. I hadn't used the expense report creation functionality much yet, but I did at PCC, and it really made it easy for them. If you just picture before using Dext, PCC was using a spreadsheet template to create payment requisitions, which meant for every invoice, there was a requisition template that needed to be filled out. enter the vendor name, invoice date, and amount manually. And so for each payables run, there are about 15 of these payment requisitions to be signed off by senior management. And then we would, as the accounting firm and our CFO, would take all of these documents and then basically enter the same information manually into the accounting system, which for them is QuickBooks Desktop. So with the new process, the executive assistant simply emails in or uploads the document to Dext, all the invoices, for example, that need to be paid, and magically, usually within 1 hour, all key information from these documents like vendor name, invoice date, amount, and even sales tax has been extracted in a format that can be easily imported into QuickBooks. This reduces the time all of us have to spend on data entry, creating and emailing files, and it's about 80% of time savings a month. It also increases data accuracy, as we said, and the other great benefit of Dext is the supporting document gets passed to the accounting system. And so when the auditor is requesting invoices or other documentation for payables, they don't really have to ask us for anything. We can just give them, the file, the accounting file, and they have access to all the invoices. So it really saves us time during the auditing process. I would say, lastly, as part of that, the auditors actually complimented our process and said it was one of the easiest audits for them, given how easily and quickly they could locate supporting documents. So that's always nice when your auditor is giving you positive feedback. Well, I will start by saying that we have a relationship manager at Dext, and so I reached out to her and I said, look, we're onboarding a new charity. They are quite innovative and they're open to change, but just like with any change, people and process come first, and then you think about the technology. And so what can Dext offer us when it comes to training and other documentation? And so she was great. Kinga, she shared with us that there are training sessions being held weekly, basic training, and then there's also advanced training. There was a document, like a one-pager, about how you can use Dext and what the benefits are. And so, we took all that, we packaged it into an email, and we had a training session as well with the client's executive assistant, who then engaged the broader organization to adopt Dext. We had a great experience. Scott Nisbet, who is the executive assistant there, he became our champion, and he definitely started to adopt it. He was very engaged, asked a lot of questions. And so for us, it's about being open to listening to the client, addressing their feedback in a timely manner, and showing empathy for the fact that this is change that they are undergoing, but continually coming back to the benefit of the change in the long term. And we really felt that we had a shared understanding of where we wanted to go, and that helped us overcome any, I would say, pretty minor challenges that we were facing and that you would expect to face with any change like this. Sheets was really a pleasant surprise. The executive assistant really shared that feedback with me. So I'm speaking on behalf of him. Another benefit for us as the accounting business, as well as for the client, is that the ability to set supplier rules. So those are a couple of real benefits in terms of automation. So about half of the invoices at Pancreatic Cancer are from the same vendors. They happen every month, and so we can set rules to say, for example, if an invoice is from this specific vendor, it's a telecommunications provider, then here's the account to which it should be categorized, here's how the sales tax should be treated, and even the description that should go into the accounting system. And you can set that supplier rule so that anytime you receive an invoice from that vendor in the future, all of those rules are applied, and you save the manual data entry every month associated with those invoices. It can actually add up to a significant time savings. In terms of any tips to other sort of folks looking to adopt Dext, I would say my biggest learning, and our biggest learning as a firm, was to start with process and stakeholder needs before jumping straight into technology. So, we know that Dext is used by many organizations and it can have a real impact, but we really have to listen to our client and understand what their needs are, and you can then set the settings of Dext accordingly. Like for example, one client may be really technologically forward and adapting other paperless and cloud technology, so you know you can start setting supplier rules right away. But another client may not be paperless at all, use a lot of paper, and so the first thing you start with is how do I go from paperless to paper to paperless, and then from there you might 1 or 2 months later move to automation, things like supplier rules, things like auto fetch of invoices. So that's really a learning and something that I can share with others who are looking to implement Dext.